copied and pasted, put the subdivision here, put the asterisk after it. Active under contract, coming soon, and sold. Close date 365 plus. I'm gonna go in and put detached too, just in case there's any, because I know it's a detached home. Just in case there's some subdivisions have townhouses and singles, and I'll pull all of them. And if you're looking for single house comps, the townhouses aren't going to do you any good.
And what's the asterisk do for the advanced subdivision?
Say there's any like villages of Hickory Hall 1, 2, 3, or anything on that sort. Sometimes there's a variation, and it's still in the same subdivision, but it started like the first part of the subdivision, then maybe it got sold to somebody else, and you'll see that type. And then just the result, and there's 7 of them, which it shows. I always go in and sort by list price, and then I'll also sort the active under contract and sold. And we said this was like 1,290 some square feet. I think it's rancher too, from what I remember. So if you look on the right hand side, you'll see a tax living area. So this is actually the same square footage as his, I believe, 1268.
1296.
Was it 1296? Okay. Well, that's the Cape Cod now. Oh yeah, that's right. There is an upstairs there. It's been a while since I've been there.
Yeah,
So I looked at days on market, which, let me go back to that. Days on market, if you look here, 143, 175, 24, 143. So if you look at some of the ones, I'm assuming these 2 bottom ones, 4 days and 10 days, bless you, sold faster, probably because they were either updated or remodeled. In fact, let's click on one and look.
You'd have to actually go in to see when they were sold, right?
Yeah. So I'll go in like this one here, and I'll take a look at the photos just to see, how updated it looks. Yeah, and that's definitely been a remodel. You can see freshly painted, updated kitchen, flooring. All that's going to factor in the price. Bathrooms are updated. Basement's finished. And that one sold for 307, but 5 grand back. And 1,268 square feet. Basement fully finished. One of the other things you'll see in here, like when we put our listings in, we always put the total square footage in, even if it's the basement's unfinished. This tax living area pulls automatically, but total square footage is, say if there's an addition or the basement's finished or anything like that, we put that additional square footage in because we're going to need it for appraisal purposes. And the more information we can have in there, the better off it is for the appraiser and for us to get as much money as we can for our sellers. That sold in 4 days. I'll look at tax record just to see what they bought it for too, just to see if it's been one that they've owned for a while or not. So this one sold in 17 for 195. So they bought it, and you can see, was it Born Again Homes? So. Oh really? So that one's 309. Let's go back to the first one that's active on the market now. And lot sizes were all about the same. So, and then expense-wise, of like what's the most expensive to the least expensive. The most expensive to build is a rancher, because your platform of your basement and everything, usually say it's 1,300 square foot, you got 1,300 square foot basement, versus like a colonial, say it's 2,000 square foot colonial, there's 1,000 as your base, so it's smaller, so it takes less footings, and one of the most expensive parts is just the base of the foundation and stuff of that sort, putting it in. And then you can build up cheaper. So most expensive rancher, second is colonial, then Cape Cod, then split level, then split foyer. Split foyer is the cheapest to build. And that's going to give you value too, because appraisers are going to look at it that way. Certain ones are much more in-depth than other ones. I usually don't see them pull a rancher and a colonial unless there's not a whole lot of comps out there, and then you can use it based on square footage, but they're going to weigh more on a rancher because the base of the house is so much bigger and more expensive to put in.
What's a split foyer and a split level's difference?
Split foyer, when you walk in, Josh, how do I know this is recording?
Little icon at the top is still on. Don't click it.
Okay. So a split foyer, as soon as you walk in the door, you'll have a small platform, then you'll have stairs going
Right.
up or down.
Yeah.
Split level, you'll walk in, it'll be like living room, dining room, kitchen. You go up for bedrooms. Down would be like a family room or its basement. And sometimes there's a 4-level split, which would be exactly what I described. But when you go to that lower family room, then there's another split again that would be under the living room side instead of under the bedroom side.
So you're actually walking in to a room.
Yeah, you're walking
as
into a
opposed
room.
to
The
foyer.
foyer.
Okay.
That's why I call it a split foyer, because you're splitting as soon as you walk into the foyer.
You have to either go up or down.
Correct.
I don't think I ever saw a split level before.
Split level. There's a fair amount of them. There's some in Box Hill
And our development.
and Bright Oaks, stuff of that sort. But those are the second least expensive. The least expensive to build is a split foyer.
It's like most of the single family homes that are in like
The affordable.
low 200s or
Low to mid 200s.
area, like around here.
So this one, do you know how many bedrooms and bath they have?
It's 4-2.
4 bedroom, 2 up, 2 on the main.
What's that?
2 up and then 2 on the main.
Correct.
2.5 baths, 1 up, 1 on.
2 bath. 1 on each level.
Nothing in the basement.
No.
So no master bath. So no master bathroom
There's no
then.
master.
So this is same thing. 1 up, 1 up. That's 1 on a lower and half bath. 1268 square footage. This one, many updates. Open kitchen. Walks out to the beautiful dining room with a pool. So depending if it's above grade pool, above ground pool, doesn't usually add any value. And sometimes they could subtract from it or ask it to be taken down. In-ground pool generally adds about $10,000. It could be as much as $20,000 depending on the hardscape, the landscaping, fencing, stuff of that sort. Because they'll add for a fence, they'll add for patio. So you pick up. Pool may cost 50 to 60 grand, and they may get back 20. They're usually not getting all. It's not a good investment. It's more for enjoyment out of it. So. But it's still generally a plus because we sometimes have sellers asking, is it a plus or a minus? And same thing with the buyers. But a pool, in-ground pool is generally a plus.
So do you look at things like when it starts to explain things like back where it said the floors are pergo,
Yep.
or maybe it'll say laminate, or what if it's hardwood? Does
Yep.
that add value?
Hardwood has more value than pergo. Pergo is a click-together floor that goes over the subfloor, as hardwood would, but it's a much thinner.
Right.
If it gets wet, it'll buckle in the
Mhm.
seams unless it's some of the new stuff, some of the life-proof, and some of them are scratch-resistant. Where hardwood, like wood will scratch, wood will dent, those type things. Sometimes with pergo, it doesn't scratch, doesn't dent, but sometimes it chips. It'll chip, or it gets wet and it'll cup up.
Is that the same as laminate?
It's a laminate.
It's a laminate.
It's not the same. Pergo was like the beginning style of the click-together vinyl flooring.
like
There's so
the-
many different brands. There's not just Pergo.
The floor that you have on Hidden Ridge, the gray kind of floor
Mhm.
that we see, is that a laminate?
That's a laminate
Okay.
still. Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. But they make there's a hardwood, and then there's engineered hardwood. Regular hardwood is 3/4 inches thick, all hardwood. Engineered is about a half, 5/8 thick, and about half of it is real wood, and the rest is a backer. And that's still usually, engineered flooring still nailed down.
Oh, okay. It's not glued.
It's not glued.
Between that, regular hardwood, and
There are so
laminate,
many.
it's harder to tell the difference now.
Yeah, there's so many and cost variations. You could get a click together floor that's $1.50. You get when I'm saying click together is more like a pergo style. It could be $3 a square foot. Hardwood, you're usually at least $3 a square foot, and you could be $15 a square foot, depending on like some of the real wide plank.
Right.
It's like the original, it's cheaper.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
original
the
small
oak.
ones, and it's unfinished.
They're still close to $3. Like even if you did basic hardwood and you had it like unfinished put into a house and then they sand it and finish it, that's
Right.
going to be $6. By the time they install it, it's $6 to $7 a square foot. You could buy pre-finished stuff that maybe is $3. Like you'll see Bruce hardwood flooring. Bruce is one of the most common ones.
Right.
It's 3/4 inch, like say Gumstock's a very popular one. That is a nail down 3/4 inch hardwood floor. You can buy it at Home Depot for $3 to $3.50 a square foot. and then install that is about $3 a square foot.
So the kind of wood like oak, that type of thing adds value.
Yep, more
It
so
was
than
hard.
Pergo. More so than Pergo. But it's more expensive to install. A click together
Correct.
floor,
Right.
you may get like the one I put in Hidden Ridge was like $3 a square foot, and then install was only like $1. I think $1.50 versus $3 because it goes down faster. It's just
It clicks together.
it just clicks together.
Okay.
There's no
Buying down the refinishing end of it, so
refinish is somewhere around $3 a square foot, and then steps are more expensive.
that's sanding and
Sanding and finishing. Like I'm doing one on Kavanaugh now on one of my rentals, and to do the main floor and the upstairs, all the bedrooms, it's close to $3,000 by the time I'm done.
you said
It's about
$3
$1,000.
a square foot.
hmm
And if they
You
were
get-
installing, it's about $5.
It's about $3 for install plus the flooring. So you, depending on what you pick, you're as an average, you're $4 or $5 a square foot. If you bought like a hand scrape look, you could be $8-9 a square, plus the install of $3.
We had white floors do one of our rehabs. They're pretty good.
Yeah, they do. Really. They're expensive.
Yeah. I think it was about $6. They had sand and finish.
There's something else that you don't see a lot on the listings that I noticed, anything about the roof. Is that just?
I was just going to ask.
Trying to stay away from that, or?
If it's 10 years old or 15 years old, they're not putting it in there. If it's like 5 years old, they're usually saying new roof in the last 5 years or 7 years, something like that. Expectancy of a regular shingled roof is around 20 years. The architectural shingles now, you'll see some of them say 30, some of them say they're 50 year, depending on the thickness and quality of the shingle. But most architectural shingles, which has more dimension to them, are 30 years. And most $500,000 houses, even the 400s, will have. Sometimes the builder makes it as an upgrade, but most of them have architectural shingles when you're getting into the $500,000 range. But like plumbing boots, where they vent out the roof, you got the PVC pipe that comes out the roof. Those boots should be replaced every 10 to 12 years, maximum 15, because that rubber usually breaks down, and that's where if you notice sometimes you go into a bathroom and you'll see like watermark, and it's because that vent pipe, the rubber boot broke down and hadn't been replaced, and they had some water leak from it.
Some guys will go up there and try to caulk around the boot.
Yeah, I mean it's not that. I mean it's usually $200 to replace a couple of them, so it's not
Yeah,
that.
Jim's doing that for me today at Weatherby.
Yeah.
It's $100 a piece.
Right. So,
Jim needs to clone himself.
So when you're looking at these and you see, for instance, new HV, just
HVAC system.
and
Mhm.
and so, but this house that you're trying to do comps on doesn't have one.
They're not going to give you dollar for dollar back, and depending on what they put in, like carrier system or a train system are more expensive versus like
Goodman.
Goodman. Goodman's a popular brand that you see that's a cheaper, less expensive.
It's a builder grade.
Yeah.
Like a lot of
Lennox?
flippers.
No, Lennox is a
Goodman.
better one.
Oh.
Lennox is close to
I mean,
carrier.
when you go in and if like sometimes when I'm looking at houses with people, I'll say, well, this is like it's a brand new system, so
Right.
that's a good
Adds
thing.
value, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay,
It
I
adds
just
value.
wanna- yeah.
But
As
appraisal wise, they're not going to give you dollar for dollar. But if you went in and looked at, all right, here's grandma's house that has, no updates versus there's one down the street that was, they did more updates, kitchens updated, HVAC systems new. I mean, HVAC system on a townhouse is usually around $4 to $5,000, like maximum probably. If you did a high end system, you're probably closer to $5. I just did 2 carrier systems at my house, and they were both about $10,000 a piece, doing in and outside. My grandmother's furnace broke the other day, so we replaced that. It's getting done today. It was like $1,800 just for the furnace. Didn't include the air conditioning. Doing the air is probably another $1,500. And depending on who's doing that, that's like somebody we know versus you call,
Well, right.
Blue Dot or one of the other ones that are a lot more expensive. Like,
Verizon.
Yeah.
like,
Depends
Right.
on if it's natural gas or if
Yeah.
it's electric. Electric's the cheapest way to go.
yeah, heat pumps are cheaper. So going through these comps too, that's Cape Cod. So let's see what this next one. I think the next one's a Cape Cod. So here's going to be more of the style
Yeah,
of what
that's
you're
what
going to
his
look
house
at.
looks like.
So this was a bank foreclosure, sold at $217.
It's actually not in bad shape either.
Yeah, just because it's foreclosure doesn't always mean bad. Like this one took a little while to sell.
So does it ask, does it like impact the comp?
If it's only one in the neighborhood, they don't hold as much value to it. If there's a bunch of them in the neighborhood, they'll hold value to it.
But still,
But this one looks
217 for
like-
that.
Right. This one looks
Yeah,
like
I
it has
was gonna say.
carpet.
Pretty lot.
Needs carpet. Yeah, hasn't been
Kitchen.
painted. Kitchen's fairly basic. Yeah, bathroom. It looks like the stick together tile floor. That's like the most inexpensive you can do. Fireplace in the basement. Walk out. Look like they had a above ground pool in. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, I thought it looked like a
Yeah.
nice garden.
Yeah.
You could really do some stuff there. I'm not kidding.
So let's see. I always look at the tax records too. So this one went back to the bank for $215, and then they sold it at $217.
So what does that mean? It went back to the bank for two
Bank
That's how much they
foreclosed on
owed
it for that.
because they owed that much.
Yeah, that's how much it was owed on it. So that's why it went back to them, and then they ended up selling it for the same, which that's usually not the case. But this was on the market 175 days. They started less at 205, which doesn't make sense, and then it sold at 217. So I don't know if at some point they got multiple offers. I don't know. This one on Lark Meadow. So this was another Cape Cod, but you can see the roof. That's more of the architectural shingles. See how you see dimension to it? That's rather than just a flat shingle. That's more basic. This sold for $235, but then you got $8,500 in closing help, so really a net of $226,500. 3-bedroom, 2-bath. And yours has one on the main, one upper, similar to this, $1,296.
Do you go by the net?
I tell them it could praise as high as that, but I always talk about, hey, it's worth probably to a buyer. I would say net sale price was $226,500, and I tell the seller the same thing. But more than likely, you could settle as high as $235 as long as you're getting some closing help. So this one, new roof in 2013, so it's 5 years old. HVAC or hot water heater, which you'll see H2O instead of hot water heater. 15 dishwasher, custom shed, fire pit, over 300 square feet of floor to attic space, 2 vehicle driveway, street parking, no HOA, an American Home Shield warranty. So that was 24 days, FHA, sold, like I said, net $226,500. Let's see what it looked like inside. Looked like it was well kept outside. And I'll read the listing, but I always look at photos because I think the photos tell you more than the listing does.
Yeah, I only look at the remarks for like what upgrades,
Mm-hmm.
or like when their stuff was built. I always look at the photos.
So it looks like it has like Pergo style flooring. You can usually tell on Pergo, you can kind of see some of the seams when you really look for it. Kitchen, it's white, but it looked like it was basic.
Have you been in the sales house?
A while ago, like a year or two ago.
I've been
Did
in
a
that
barn
grandma's house. Like when
He was
my
doing
mom's
some
there.
stuff to it. So I'm kind of curious of what he did. I'm hoping he did some stuff to it.
I know he pulled out the oil tank out front.
Good.
He said that's gone.
So that was, that foreclosure did pretty well. That sold
Yeah.
for what, 214 was it? And that was just 226. Here's another Cape Cod. This sold for 270. So I'd imagine this has a lot more updating to it.
Yeah, I just did them. I was gonna give a swing of $225 to $275, depending on what I'm walking into.
Yeah. Yeah, depending on. So they replaced the floors. Looks like this looks like a full remodel, but let's see. Yeah, nicer kitchen, stainless appliance. All hardwoods on the main floor, granite. Updated bath. So this is a remodel. That sold for 270, but what was it? 12,000. Yeah. I don't think his basement's all the way finished. You can see all the bathrooms are totally updated. It
Speaking
has
of
a
that,
sunroom addition too.
is that secondary to this, but because he had that oil tank, do I have to disclose that? Does he have to disclose that?
I would put it in there that he removed the oil tank, goes in the front yard, or had it filled in, whatever
It's
it's done.
dug. He had it dug up
Okay.
and completely taken out.
Okay.
But put
Yeah,
that
I'll
on.
put it in
Put
there.
that
Yep,
on
and
the
just get
D&D.
documentation from it. So 270 with 12, so it's 258 net sale price. So I think your high side is probably 250. I don't think he didn't do a full remodel. And that's 4 bedrooms, 3 full baths, 1 main, 1 upper, 1 lower. $12.96, so same square footage, same layout. Charming, fully remodeled Cape Cod, modern amenities, hardwood floors, living room, dining room, custom tile shower, brand new kitchen with upgrades, stainless steel, fully finished basement, and that was 46 days, but they started at 298.7 and worked their way down. Yeah.
About how many comps do you take with you for even if it's a buyer or for a seller?
I'd say, I mean, if you had 5 to 7, that's great.
Yeah, I usually like 10. Depending where it
Yeah.
is. If it's a townhouse and you got a ton of them, you know, it's different.
You see they bought this back in 16 for 153. And another thing, you look at the close date of just when it was. This was November 17th, but again, they started higher. They started at 298. They would have started at 275, probably would have sold a lot faster. But sellers sometimes need to realize, and then depending on what kind of information agents giving them. So 307, I think this was one of the remodels that we pulled up. 307 with 5 grand back, and it's colonial. It's going to be bigger. Yeah, it's another.
I'll take a wall out.
Yeah. That last Cape Cod had a sunroom addition on the back of it too, so you got to factor that in. And depending on if the agent put that in the square footage or not, I don't remember looking and seeing it. But this is
It was
before.
12. It was 12.96. The last one.
Let's see if that. Let me go back to that last one. So the last one would be a good comp, and that one, the foreclosure, and the other one. So I think 225 to 250, depending on what.
And there's some other stuff that's right outside of it, further down Fitch, that I pulled up. It's just not in.
And when I pull the subdivision and 7 of them show up, I'll usually take that. Sometimes I'll pull outside of it too.
Okay.
But if I can get a good sense of, because the square footage is really similar. It's like pulling townhouses. You get townhouses, you got to look at bump outs. What has bump outs? What on the other thing that affects townhouses big time is how many bathrooms upstairs and bedrooms. Is it 3 bedroom? Is it 2 bedroom? Because 2 bedroom is going to be worth quite a bit less. And I've had people take out walls before. I'm like, put it back before you sell it. Because it's like,
Yeah, but
literally,
and,
right.
and 2 bathrooms. From what I see, they want a master bath
master
and
bath,
then another
yep.
bathroom.
Yep.
for
So
their-
hall bath and master bath. If it only has one,
Yeah, that's-
valued a lot less.
So
It-
what
it
about if
affects
you're
about
going to
10
pull
grand.
comps for places that aren't in a subdivision?
Mhm.
Say you got to be out in the country.
Yeah,
but
I
what
I'll
if-
do one
I
of
just
them.
said that one just because.
Yeah. Did you print these
Yeah,
already?
I already
Okay.
Like
Alright,
if you're
So I just
looking
wanted to
at
make sure I was right.
property.
Yep.
Like, and I don't mean property just plain land. I mean like a farm.
Josh, where's your next appointment? Do you have anything that's
Savage.
farther?
Yeah, it'd be 7912 Savage. I would put the asterisk.
The road is Savage.
Yeah, it was on the market. They bought last year.
SAVAGE.
Yeah,
There it is. Okay. Our MLS is so slow.
It doesn't
It's
have
not
a
our
neighborhood.
MLS. It's just MLS.
It doesn't
Right.
have like a neighborhood like that one.
Yeah. So on this one, so 7912 Savage. I have no idea of Savage, Maryland. So this will be a good one for us. 'Cause I don't know.
Basically Columbia and Jessup.
Yeah. What is it?
Like
Howard
technically
County,
Savage,
okay.
but
But it's Howard
Jessup,
County.
and that's where it
Yeah, those
Okay.
taxes are pretty.
So I'll look at that and assessment. I mean, assessment's here, but
Lordy.
yeah. So 695. Did they buy it as a foreclosure or something?
Yeah.
For 487.
Last year.
6.7 acres. Year built 1812.
Oh wow!
It's a big ass.
I bet it's beautiful.
They got a couple slaves
Holy
around.
Oh,
But-
that is terrible.
That's the house.
Hmm.
That's basically what that is.
5682 square footage.
And a 2,000 square foot porch.
Yeah.
Gosh.
It's a big house. It's got like 3 kitchens.
Got pictures of this place?
One for the people, one for the slaves.
Yeah, make sure I'm not recording something.
Don't forget I'm recording this, guys.
I thought you were just screen recording it.
It can hear everything we're saying.
It wouldn't really help much. If it was just
Megan,
a-
it would be
a
great if
mute-
you would
a
stop
mute break.
referencing slavery.
We
It's
don't have any
super
deaf people
offensive.
doing
We can hear your voice.
All right. so
Yours.
5682.
Go to property history.
All right, so this is holy crap.
Whoa.
2.6 million or something. Back in the peak, man. Just tell them to hold on to it.
1.5 at one point.
It's right next to
1.7.
95 too. I looked at the aerial map.
So it was on the market all these times and
Yeah.
it was sold
Sold
for $4.99.
So they were on the market last for $4.99 is when they were trying to sell it.
That's when they
They,
bought it.
no, that's before they bought it.
This was 17.
No, that said it started at 16.
It's April 17 off the market.
What, the one on the side of it just said 16.
They bought it in 17. Okay.
That's crazy.
Can't wait to see these pictures.
There's not a lot of pictures of what.
30 photos.
Well, when they bought it, I think there was 30.
Beauty's not high, the beholder.
Wow, look at that back porch.
Paul's in, man. Paul sold.
That movie Money Pit.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
1812.
Just take Paul with you, man. He's ready to write the check right
Is that
now.
like a bed and breakfast?
Looks like it could be.
It could be your bed and breakfast.
Yeah, Paul.
Make some money on that place.
Okay.
Oh yeah, look at his back porches.
I'll take all of them.
That's it. That's a historic district, too.
Nice
It's a
wallpaper.
historical house.
Did they fix it up?
He
I mean,
said
it was
he
pretty
made
much the
some
first house in
repairs, but it
Maryland
didn't
by
sound
that
like he did
date.
a lot. I don't know.
So they started at 1.7 and end up all the way down at 500 grand. Talk about overpricing a house.
Does this have landscaping done to it? Professionally landscaped?
So let's see. At 2.65, that's crazy.
What is it?
Yeah, so as high as 2.65 is what they started at this thing in 17.
That's crazy.
I mean 2007, 2.65, 6 acres. So all these. So the most recent is when they bought it. They bought it 487 with 12 grand back.
That was the deal of the century.
Paul's in.
It's haunted
Yeah.
and it's a money pit. So this is from when they bought it.
It's got 35 rooms and one car garage.
Be a full-time job picking that place up.
So there's 2 kitchens. You got one here and one here. They're totally different.
Well, that actually doesn't look that bad.
Couple
For
mils.
these.
Fix it right up.
Oh, it's got a bidet, too. Nice.
Right up your alley.
Okay.
Literally.
Huh?
The gold today.
All right, so let's map around it and see.
Hey, fool the cops up on this. Okay.
So now I'll just go into search. I'll put active under contract coming soon. Sold. I'll do the same thing, 365 plus. Typically an appraiser wants 10 years older to 10 years newer, but that's not going to happen on this one.
But look where it's at too on the map. It's right next to 95. Like, all 95.
Oh wow, I mean, well that you got,
Zoom in on it.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. You got 95 and then 32.
That's pretty private back there.
Yeah, got all those trees.
I mean, you're not gonna. I mean, right now you may see part of 95, but when it's
Pretty big lot.
spring, you're not really gonna see it.
Let's see. So I'm gonna.
I think that house probably owned all this at one point.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna go in and do a polygon. I'm gonna see.
What did you come up with?
I didn't look yet. I was gonna look today.
I'm gonna start small because I just want to see what's going on in the area.
I mean, depending what he did for it, I mean, if he did a lot of work to it, it would go well. Basically, probably just whatever he put into it. But if he didn't do anything, it's probably worth what he paid for it.
Well, market's gone up a little bit though.
Got a building lot on it.
So the highest one in that area was
Nothing
588. Yeah, none of them. Now look, but you got Howard County, just in that small area. You got Howard County, and then this one's in Anne Arundel. So either that's mapped wrong. That says Jessup.
Jessup's right on the line.
Okay.
It's on. Yeah, I was gonna say it's on the line.
That's a newer home, 2017 built. So I'm gonna go back up to the map. There's not enough there. I'm gonna clear the map. I'm gonna delete this shape. Then I'm gonna go out radius wise. I'm gonna start with a mile. Why did it not give me a reading? Usually it gives me a reading. There you go, 1.14. Let's do a mile and a half.
Josh,
Alright,
when are you going
248.
there
So now I
today?
just gotta.
Tomorrow,
What time?
5.
So I'll put over 3,000 square feet detached. There's 16. Let's see what that looks like.
Getting there won't be a problem. Getting back, that's why I was like, all right, well, at least 6 from there an hour.
So they range now.
Oh, Thomas.
Lose some
Right.
traffic on the way
So, but
back.
almost all of them are newer. You got one here that's 200. There's one that's 206 years old. So let's see.
I
This
was
is,
thinking that there was another 200-year-old home, but that was.
it is.
Same
The
one.
next one. Is it the same one?
Is that what you're supposed to do?
So this was only 307. This was built in 1900s.
A farmhouse.
That house can fit in that house. Like,
Right.
and then still have room for
What's
everyone to live.
3,400 square feet? This is a Hub Zoo auction. 371. Sold for 307 cash. That went back to the bank for 402. Was sold in the height of the market for 410.
What schools are that over? What schools does that come over?
Patuxent Valley and
Those are
Hammond.
good schools. And then depending on whatever the Jessup one is, it might not be.
So,
as good
yeah, this is-
schools.
I was like, all right, there's another good comp that was 200 years old, but it's that exact
Oh,
one. So he bought it less than a year ago. He bought it, what, 8 months, 9 months?
Those are good. Those are good schools.
Does.
It's
Gotta
just
take
because of
that
the
whole front
awning. You
thing
gotta
off.
take that awning down. That's why it looks like a funeral home. Looks kind of stupid. Rather.
6 bedrooms, 8 baths,
Wow.
2 half baths.
Got a lot of potential.
You can get a bathroom at a different one every
It's a
week,
cool
okay?
ass bathroom. I know. I need cleaning 3.
I'd love to know where that is. That's like right by
Why don't you go on listing for him Sunday?
Oh, you gonna buy it?
Fall's in, man.
I'm gonna Google over the pictures.
Mhm.
20.
Tyler said he believes
You can
Mark
make a
will
bed and
stop
breakfast
by.
out of it.
He doesn't know
You can have
when
at least
he's
run
waiting
that.
for a
Yeah.
response.
Or you can turn it into a nursing home at least.
To work on
Yeah,
the
that's very true.
Say that one more time.
Gyro said he believes Mark will stop by. He's not sure when though.
Okay.
He's waiting on a response.
So this is built in 92. This is a lot smaller. It's 3,600 square feet. Has 5 less full baths. Let's see if there's anything that's here. I mean, these are all newer homes.
I mean, what's the general ball? Like a full bath will give you like $5,000.
Yeah, about 5,000. Half bath about 3.
Just give him a number. But like, we're just gonna take a shot in the dark here.
The only other thing you can do is try to judge on history where stuff sold last, and then what kind of upgrades they've done, how much has gone into it, sweat it. Purple
And the
flow.
appraiser would go in and pretty much do the same thing.
Appraiser's gonna try. Yeah, they're gonna try to.
Dude, why don't
That's
you?
why it doesn't
I
compare.
imagine he'd have the appraisal from when he bought it. Just be like, can I have that?
Columbia.
And see what it actually appraised
How much
for.
is that? Oh, that's too
So this was built in
That looks
'84.
like something.
It's under contract now. 619.9. 4 bedroom, 3 bath, 3,400 square feet plus the basement.
Much property. Lot. Oh, that's only half acre.
0.43.
It's too far away.
That's 5 days it went under contract. Point. It was like point something. Saddleback. This is a newer home. 2005. So sometimes you're just looking, you can't even find anything. So 0.63 acre, built in 91, 665.
Seller subsidy, 19,000.
Yeah.
My people don't. I don't feel so bad about my people
Yeah, I
anymore.
mean, in that area for like Howard County Schools, 6 acres.
Right. But the problem is, thing is, you can't do anything with it though. More than likely, you're not going to be able to subdivide it.
Yeah.
Why?
Where it's at, it might,
Historical, you
yeah.
can't. You can't.
So this one, I mean, these are also, this is like 0.19 acres, 730.
That's probably
13,000, but it's the home that's bringing the value there.
It is very dark.
This was 0.31 built in 2005, so there's no, like, so far there's nothing.
Where's Reed at?
Let's
Yeah,
see.
his appraiser.
New construction again, 2017, 734. That's probably gonna be 0.21 acres. Laurel.
I mean, something that's new. Could you just ask him? Like, you have to have the appraisal from when you bought it. But, like, what did that appraise for?
I would always ask those questions because if you have anything to help support a much higher value, showing that they got that good a deal on it. But you know, so far there's nothing here that we can say, oh, this is a good comp. Because this one,
I mean, how far could you go
2004
back?
built.
I've only gone in like to 500 days.
I'm gonna actually now because we haven't found anything good. I'm gonna go spread out farther, and I'm gonna put age bracket in or acreage. So I'm gonna go out like 3 miles.
And would you go out
There's
further
three.
in space versus?
Sometimes I'll go
days
time
on-
too.
Like
so
a date, like
time.
is that 365? Do like 500 days?
So I'm gonna do 2+ acres now and see what comes up. So 2+. There's 2, and then I'll go back in time for 2 years, a little over 2 years. Let's see, still only 2+. Let's see what's even here.
Like something in the rural area.
So that's that's indicator that 6 acres is pretty darn unique, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right there.
So that only sold for 427. That was
DC.
this was sold in 17 as well. This is in Laurel, 427 with 12 grand back. Has 5 1/4 acres. Built in 1900. Yeah. I don't know why they sell them.
I don't know. I think his wife doesn't like it or something.
Haunted.
I don't care as long as they sell it. Whatever. Get the hell out.
Old house. A 1900 built. 5 1/4 acres. Let's see, what else can we do?
That's on the line.
Let me take the acreage out. I mean, let me take the size of the lot.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, size of the house out.
The schools are not as good.
Now, when I take size of the house, so there's 5 of them with over 2 acres. Still, in the last 2 years, in a 3.5 mile radius.
Skagville Road.
Let's see. This one, 2 acres, 412. I mean, that one's gonna be. What he's got is a nightmare to comp because there's no real comps.
Oh, there's not gonna be any comps for it. That's all.
I mean, they started 2.5
You
million.
almost have to go up to like Ellicott City for that old.
All right, so here's one, Jessup, 9.7 acres, under contract at 1.6. There's no spread in these numbers. Goodness.
That's probably didn't think so.
No pictures.
Right, all exterior.
Click on it. Is it subdividable land?
Let me
Look
see.
at the information.
I just want to see what else is here for photos.
And less desirable schools.
Yeah, it's all exterior. Nice pave. It's,
It's gotta be subdividable.
almost 10 acres, Jessup, Howard County. Zone
Wow, that makes a
Commercial.
big difference.
Business office, all the number of additional buildings. Yeah, I mean, that's. They were on the market 148 days. It's still under feasibility studies all the way through December of this year.
That's crazy.
So it went under contract. So
Over a year.
yeah, when you look at this, so it went under contract in October. It has like 15-month feasibility study because they're going to the county and see if they are able to subdivide and build and stuff like that. That would be the only reason it'd be worth that kind of money.
Mm-hmm.
Look at tax record. Tax assessment on a house is 546. It transferred 400, 390, and then 850. And they're under contract 1.6. And they must have it listed multiple ways because it's showing all. Yeah, commercial, lot, and residential. They have it listed as. So it's not. I mean, it's not a good comp. Plus, the feasibility study is such a long period of time. That's saying that they're going to try rezoning and see what they can get approved. they can get approved to build what they want to build in there, then they'll pay 1.6. But if not, and they can't subdivide it, then it's not worth it.
And
So.
2%, man. That's nice.
So
That's
that
good.
one, there's not a good comp even back when you go back in time. So I'm gonna go back one more time, just a little bit farther, just to see if I can find anything like 1,200 days, because I don't want to go out much farther. Area wise. Well, there's 7 of them now. Let's see what's
That's
here.
what we had before.
We had 5.
2004, 2005 was the market.
I won't go that far. Yeah, I won't go that far. So this one, 3.9 acres, 2,900. Here's 155. 600,000. This sold in 15 with 12 back. That was built in 1985. Totally different house. 3.9 acres. They were 132 days on the market. They started at 750. It sold at 585, 586. And then this one, then you jump up to 1.1, 1.3 acres, but it's the house. I mean, so it's not that. So now let's go map wise. Let's spread it out again, because there's not. And sometimes with these like really unique properties, you do have to go out. Usually, the appraiser won't go more than 5 miles, though. So.
What about tapering down the acreage and doing the age search?
There's not enough to even taper it down, because there's not. I'm at 5.5 mile radius now, and there's 63. Now there's a little bit more criteria. So now let me go. What happens when I go 4 acres? There's 14, and I may have to cut the time down because at 1265, they're not going to go back that far in time. I mean, that's back to 2014. See, so I'll usually look at the summary and just see. All right, you got 6 acres. This is 80 years old. A farmette on 2 lots. 2,100. You got 2,500. This is all the lots. I mean, the square footage sizes are a lot less. But let's see. Let's see what this is. Let's see where it is. So this is Laurel again.
That's PG Laurel, or Montgomery Laurel.
Yeah, Montgomery County. 724. Arts and crafts. 6 acres. 3 bedroom, 2 bath. Built in 38. 2,100 square foot. Yeah. So again, it's going to be different. They were 165 days. It's under contract now, but hasn't settled.
Like if it's zoned like agricultural or something like that, like does that change value at all?
If it's in ag preserve, it can't be subdivided,
Okay.
and it's only valued in
Does
the
that
land as farmland.
Okay.
So like builders, they have no interest in that because they know they can't develop
I
it.
can't do it.
And there's a lot of that around here. This one in Clarksville. So this was
Clarksville, so that's like
built in
plus.
76. Yeah, 815. So again, it's a rancher, small, 2,000, 2,600 square feet with the basement saying 56. So there's not a good comp for this property.
So what do you do after that?
Start fishing online.
Yeah.
Like what?
I mean, you could
Like
say-
how much you want to sell for?
I guess that's probably why they started at 2
Yeah.
million. So